Config and his ankle. Now, I do have a video that I'll probably put out tomorrow as a precursor to this when it invariably becomes a video. But anyway, I'm hot for this one because I can't believe how stupid these children that are fucking infesting my fucking scene actually are. And some stuff's just got to get said. So Config obviously went to an event. Astralis did bad. He fucking broke his ankle, and it was reported by Jackson, a Danish focused, I would say is fair classification, news outlet that have been very good at breaking some stories. They've covered a number of things about Device, and you know, I don't think they've ever been wrong in terms of their reporting. I don't think I've ever seen them publish anything that was factually incorrect. And they reported that, yes, Config had got into a fist fight in Malta, and there'd been an eyewitness that saw it, and it happened in a nightclub, and he ended up breaking his leg while he was having a fight. And so we talked about that, and we talked about what it means. Now, look, here's the baseline that you just need to know. If I am running an organization and I am a manager, and I've done this, I have had my own organization back in the day that I used to own. It was mine. I funded it. It was called Excite UK. There's still some of you out there that still have the little special custom avatars we put out for you. That's how I know old school when I see it. I was a manager in Four Kings. I was a manager in Infused. So I was involved with a number of, high-level UK orgs, which I'm aware is an oxymoron. If I'm funding an organization and you go to my event and there is another event in a few weeks that is critically important to the future of my brand, and you get into a fight and get injured and then cannot play in that qualifier, you are fired, you are done, you are not a good person. You haven't been jumped, you haven't been assaulted, you are not a victim of crime, you are out of my org. You have let me down, you have let your teammates down. That is the baseline, and that's what I said. And as we'll get into, I know a few bits and pieces the rest of the community don't about why giving Config the benefit of the doubt. Thorin said it in his video, which again, everyone downvoted because Ginger Man bad, even though Thorin came at it from an interesting angle of talking about his own life experiences and how you end up losing people over stupid things. I'll tell you a few stories, by the way, before we get into the Config stuff especially. There are a million reasons to never get into a fight. And let me tell you, I had a friend who passed away, committed suicide, but we were very, very close friends. And we always had this weird thing because he used to know another guy that I vaguely knew who was called Richard Lewis as well. And Richard Lewis was like, he said like we were very similar people. He was like, a bit of a joker, liked to have a drink, liked to party, but he was a funny guy, always trying to like be the positive fella on the fucking night out and all that stuff. That's what I do. People can attest to this. I'm the like big brother figure. If anyone gets too drunk, I'll put down my drinks, talk after them, and make sure everyone gets a taxi and all that stuff. There was another Richard Lewis before me that these guys knew, my crew knew, that I met without really getting to know that Richard Lewis guy. He was just like a peripheral dude. And anyway, he was coming down the street and a bunch of chavs, like 14-year-olds, like accosted him. He didn't want to beat them up because they were like kids. They were teenagers, and he was a big guy. He didn't run away because they were kids and he didn't feel threatened. And he didn't want to beat them up and fight them, even though they were trying to do that because they're kids and he doesn't want to hit kids. He doesn't like being a bully. Anyway, he dropped his guard and one of the kids pulled out a knife and stabbed him in the kidney and he died. He's dead. That version of Richard Lewis got fucking murked by children. And it made my friends, like when they met me, like they all felt super weird about it and stuff. So that guy was like a big dude, bigger than me, big strong guy, could fight, didn't take himself out of a dangerous situation because he thought they were just kids messing about and it couldn't get dangerous, but equally didn't finish the situation neither. It's called fight or flight for a reason, guys. And flight is generally the better option every time. But it's not just that. Like, I've known a guy who was, again, gentle giant type, used to play rugby with him, and he's one of those guys that it happens to. Some guy, drunk, aggressive, in his face, and he's hit him, like, as in my chum has hit this guy, and the guy's gone down like a sack of shit because he's drunk, and he smashed his head, and he's fucked up in a spinal, and now this guy's doing a stretch. You're in jail, And the thing is, up until that point, all the world, especially where I'm from, will agree you've done nothing wrong. But you've lashed out in anger and now you've done something heinous and you will have to pay for it. Society mandates it. So it's what I mean. It's like there's just so many reasons to never be in these situations. You can fuck up your own life. You can fuck up the life of someone else. I'll be honest. in the past, I've lost control. One of the things I always tried working on was my temperament, because I can't explain it to you. The flash of rage compared to the lifetime of guilt you feel for acting on that, one does not settle the other. It's like king for a day, fool for a lifetime shit. You just don't do it. And so, you know, the best path always is to fucking walk away. Now, I will also add, I noticed everyone's supporting K0nfig on this. I seem to remember another incident where someone acted in self-defense after trying to avoid a fight, but was made a pariah for that in the world of esports for 7 years. But maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. Because what Reddit is telling me today is actually, not only was I in the right, I should have actually then, after the incident, I should have waited for Loader outside of the venue and fought him twice, according to Reddit. That's just normal. That's good behaviour. So anyway, let's have a look at K0nfig's Twitlonger, because he wanted to put my side of the story out there. Spoiler, this Twitlonger is filled with lies and contradictions that point to lies. Because it was announced that Astralis were going to get rid of him. Thank you, K0nfig. Thank you. Thank you for going to an event representing us, once again acting like a drunken arsehole and fucking over 4 of our teammates and costing us millions by ruining our chances for qualifying for the major. I mean, serious, guys. Like, I'll tell you what, all the people who were saying that Astralis are a dog shit org, this is a way classier send-off than he deserves. That's a fact. And we'll get into why. That is ridiculous and ridiculously nice, but listen, shock you, I think Astralis have done everything right here. They've appropriately removed him. They've let him save face by pretending it's a mutual agreement. And they've said he's always welcome back, which absolutely cannot be true if you have any self-respect as an organisation. But here it is. Astralis and K0nfig terminate contract due to personal circumstances. So they even did him the solid of, we're not going to say why. Because it's a conduct issue, essentially. Astralis and K0nfig have agreed on a cancellation of his contract. Casper Shit, director of sports, said K0nfig is going through a tough time with issues he does not want to discuss publicly. Spoiler, within hours he discussed them publicly. We fully respect that. It has been affecting his ability to contribute to the team, and we have had ongoing and constructive talks with K0n, who needs time to focus on his private life. Together, we have explored different options, and even though nobody knows how things will be in 3 or 6 months, right now it's all about giving K0n space and time without the constant pressure of having to get back and play. Therefore, we have come to the agreement to cancel his contract. It is not the best of days for anybody involved, but we agree it is the right thing to do. With his energy and positive mindset, K0n has contributed a lot to the team, both on and off the server, and it's no secret that everybody in Astralis have enjoyed having him around. He will always be welcome here, now and in the future, says Casper Shit. And then a little statement from K0nfig. I am insanely sad about my situation and how it affects everybody in Astralis. That goes for the team and the people in the office, as I have nothing but the best to say about everyone here, and I had hoped to be part of this organisation for many years. The thing is, though, that I am at a place in my life where I need to focus on myself, not just physically, so I will be taking a break for a while. I've received a lot of support internally and an overwhelming number of greetings and support from Astralis fans all over the world. I am eternally grateful for that. You guys are amazing. I hope all the best for Astralis in the future. Personally, I will be off for a bit, work on myself, and hopefully soon be back on the server. Astralis have no further comments. Now listen, right? This is great. This is a really good statement and a classy send-off. And it should have just been left here, frankly. You know, at the end of the day, I understand why, when it's your reputation, you want to clarify stuff, you want to go out and you want to tell, here's the truth, here's the manifesto, case closed. I get that, right? The truth, right? I get it. But the point is, though, this would have all just been better off left unsaid. Because when you get into the Twitlonger and you get into the contradictions and you get into the details, I don't think it paints K0nfig in a good light. I know Reddit thinks it does. But like, I was even on the official fucking subreddit Discord last night because I was watching the Raiders get fucking ass blasted again, and I would just wanted to be made angry, so why not go and fucking read the absolute like dregs of public opinion about esports? And I was in there and they were like, he acted in self-defense. I was like, oh lord, man tries to headbutt you, you stop them, not self-defense. Wait for somebody outside of a nightclub, chase them down the street, start fight, self-defense. This is the subreddit's actual collective thinking. If people on Reddit had a brain, they would be in constant treatment for cognitive dissonance. It's actually insane. Like, it's actually insane. The Twitlonger comes out, and man alive, sometimes saying nothing is better, but whatever. My Side of the Story by K0nfig, aged 25. My side of the story. These last weeks have been the hardest time of my life. I've been scared, broken, and completely lost. I thank all of you for your support and kindness. Without you and the love of my friends and family, I wouldn't have made it through. There's been a lot of speculation about the injury incident and my situation, and only now, 3 weeks after the incident, I've summoned the strength to go back to that night where everything fell apart for me and share my side of the story. Now, I am absolutely 100% confident as well that Astralis or someone like a PR company worked with K0nfig on writing this, because the tone of that immediately is, I'm going to tell you how stunning and brave I am for the consequences of my own fucking actions as a 25-year-old man. And immediately, like, the kids in this scene have lapped that up. Oh god, did something bad happen to you? Okay, well, let's analyze it. I am not perfect. Great bit of contrition up front, right? Very clever. And I stand here today to tell you that I failed you in the community as a role model. Oh, yeah. Just for about 5 fucking years, brother. And myself for not being the person I strive to be. I'm really sincerely sorry for failing you. I'll do anything to change it. But all I can do is never letting anything like this happen again in the future. Actions have consequences, and no one else is responsible for where I am today but myself. So again, front load it with the contrition, and fair enough, he's fucking right, but he's leaving out some convenient little details that we're going to get into. It was the night of the heroic loss. We were in a pretty tough place after that loss. We've been grinding hard to improve, but disappointed yet again. And we were set to leave Malta the next day. We wanted to go out and take our thoughts away from the game and have some fun since the loss was saddening. We just wanted to enjoy the last night in Malta before we headed home. After going to a few bars, we decided to go to a nightclub in Paceville, which is Malta's nightlife area. By the way, notorious part of Malta. I ain't never been to Malta, but obviously I got all my homeboys out there. You know what I'm saying? Paceville is like a bit naughty. That's all I'm going to say there, right? I was feeling hungry, so I went and got food on my own while my teammates went into the club. I arrived at the nightclub 30 minutes after eating. The entrance of the nightclub was at the top of this staircase leading into the club. I walked up the staircase and asked the guy who appeared to be in charge if I could join my friends and explain that they had already gone in. Instead of just saying no, he dissed my tattoos and said that it was his fucking club and that I was a tattooed loser and there was no way he would let me in unless I paid 5,000 euros for a table. He was quite aggressive, and I felt humiliated, so we got into an argument. Now, my chat are boomers, so hands up, what's wrong with this? Who is starting the issues here? I really want to know. Because let me tell you, you being a fucking dickhead and getting up in the face of a doorman, and I've been a doorman, I worked the fucking door. These cunts are, like, you fucking can't be arsed with these cunts. And keep in mind, while this guy is jawing on, and I've got one eye on him, there's another cunt trying to get in, there's a queue up here, there's a guy fucking selling someone some coke, he's just done a handoff, and I've got one eye on him, and I can't take an eye off you, because I don't know if you're going to do something mental, like pull a blade out on me. So all of my attention and energy really needs to be on you, but it's a busy nightclub, and I got other shit to be thinking about. So let me, one of the things that Duncan's video didn't do is it didn't talk about the doorman perspective. And having worked in that life, yeah, probably I would even go so far as to say 60%, maybe 70% of doormen are just pieces of shit. Like, I worked with pieces of shit. I worked with fucking arseholes. I worked with people who literally would always fight on the doors. That was their relief at the end of the week. They used to love working the doors. It weren't even about the money. They didn't need it. They had a fucking job Monday to Friday. They'd come work the doors on the weekend so they could have a fight. So I know that there's pieces of shit in that fucking world. It was their catharsis. I also know there's all these cunts. They got passed over for being a mall cop, too dumb to be in the police force, not fit enough to be in the fucking army. So here's what they do. right? They fucking come and become a doorman, and that's their little release. And you can tell them they have the stab vests on, they have radios on, you know, like they fucking really do the biz. Some of them are carrying handcuffs they legally can't use in the UK. Full power tripping losers, right? So I've seen them types as well. But let me also tell you, there's like 30% of doormen who stay sober, they're not on the gear, they're not on the juice, right? And they just are working people who just don't want people to get hurt in the club. It's just a job for them. Yeah, they can handle themselves, but they just want to throw you out. They'll even talk you out if they can. I've been that doorman where I'm looking, right, and thinking, okay, I am now having to do threat assessment in my head in real time. And this mouthy drunken arsehole with his eyes rolled up into his skull is fucking public enemy number one, and I need to get him out of the club because he's not just a danger to me right now, he's a danger to the patrons. At the end of the day, bit of fucking world advice. If you are denied entry to a nightclub, there is no magic set of words that will convince a doorman to let you in. You have been assessed. You understand. They're looking at you in the queue. They know whether you're swaying. They see the way you're walking. They see where you come from. They see who you talk to. You're living in the corners of your eyes as a doorman all the time. Sometimes you're even wired or jacked up on fucking, you know, speed because you've got a night shift to do and you're there till 4, 6 a.m., right? So, at the end of the day, he was assessed. And I've seen config at events. It's not a surprise to me that a doorman decided this guy's too drunk to get in. And if the doorman said, I'm not letting you in, or the promoter or whoever the fuck said it, I'm not letting you in because I don't like your tattoos, their place, their rules. Walk the fuck away. Arguing's not going to help. It's just going to get you into trouble, right? And I'll also tell you, abroad and in Wales too, a lot of the doormen that I knew were all ex-fucking cons because that was one of the jobs you could get as an ex-con, cash in hand door staff. They don't care. Like, they're heading back, mate. They're heading back. You don't want an argument with these people. You're a 25-year-old sports star millionaire and you are arguing with a guy who might have a fucking jacket, might have been inside, in and out, might, you know, and what, you're gonna tussle with this guy. Who do you think's coming harder? Fucking sort it out, like. How you get to be 25 and not learn these lessons is a mystery to me. I wish I could have been this naive. I wish I could be this blissfully ignorant. That I can go, you know, but fortunately I've seen too much. So, nah, by 25, like I said, I'd seen some shit. So anyway, this is 100% his fault. 100%. Doorman says no, you go. Doesn't matter if he disses your tattoos. Doesn't matter if he disses your haircut. Doesn't matter if he cusses your mum. Walk the fuck away. It's their place, it's their rules. Anyway, he goes on. He was aggressive and I felt humiliated, so we got into an argument. Okay, so your macho pride has now put you into a conflict situation. Your fault. I told him he was the loser for standing in a nightclub queue and feeling better than everyone else. Fantastic. You have gone up to a doorman that has just denied you entry and you have called him a loser to his face. Now, I don't know what this guy looks like, but I'm going to tell you, if you provoke a doorman with verbal, right, and they've already asked you to leave, it don't matter if they give you a shoe-in on the cameras. Here's what happens. The police come and he went, yeah, he was belligerent and drunk and wouldn't leave. And the police look at the cameras and they see you getting fucking dusted and thrown into the street and clowned. And they go, yeah, that's fine. That's well within the purview of what a doorman can do. No bother. You have immediately not only created a conflict that didn't need to exist, you have put yourself at a massive disadvantage because you have just handed him the right to attack you. Now, he decided to spit in his face, right, which again, dirty, whatever. And then kicked him, apparently. And then he says, so he spat directly in my face and kicked me in my face. He was standing several steps over me on the staircase, so it was like kicking a football. It made me fall down the stairs and sprain my foot. It hurt like hell, but adrenaline, fear, and confusion had completely taken over my body. I didn't notice it at first. I just remember feeling confused. And then after, he ran into the club and had bouncers in front of him. My mouth was swollen. My leg and foot hurt like hell. So first of all, I don't think you fought fucking vintage Jackie Chan home slice. The idea, a doorman in my mind is up top. So the idea he's got a fucking nimbleness. Oh, okay, if this is the promoter guy, I don't know. Maybe the promoter guy is a bit like that. But anyway, so he spat in your face and followed it up with a kung fu kick to the face and knocked you down the stairs. Like, fucking hell, he's a bit tasty, isn't he? You might want to think about, like, put it this way, if someone busts out a fucking head kick on me immediately, like what? Like, and knocks me down the stairs, I'm thinking, all right, that cunt's actually fucking practiced a little bit, like, he knows what he's doing, yeah? So I'm not going to go back and get a piece off him. He's already just dusted my jaw off, like, with one kick, so probably leave him alone, like, you know what I mean? Not config, though. I sat down on the pavement outside, right? There are people literally on Reddit, on the official Discord, on Twitter, denying that he waited outside for the promoter to have a second fight. By the way, again, here's a bit of advice for you as well. If you lose the first fight, don't go back for the second one on the same night. Treat it like Rocky 4 or some shit. You know, have a montage if you really want to get back at them. You're not winning the second one. You sprained your ankle. You're fucked up. You probably got concussion. You're not winning that one now. You already lost, homie. Like, go home. Like, just common sense, like. Anyway, I sat down on the pavement outside the club in total shock and tried to understand what had just happened. And then suddenly I saw that same promoter leave. Suddenly. Yeah, suddenly. I felt so angry and unfairly treated, so I humped after him and caught up with him further down the road to confront him. I regret this terribly. I should have walked away. I should have just gone home and licked my wounds, because then none of this would have happened. When I caught up with him, I said I would report it to the police. Bro, what is wrong with this story? Again, class, what's wrong with this story? I chased after this guy to tell him I was calling the police on this guy. Nah, bullshit, mate, you're lying. Absolutely lying. You wanted to keep fighting. Your pride was hurt. You thought, right, well, he's away from the doorman. I'm so hard. I can get another one in, yeah? You thought, fuck it. Just go to bed and call the police. Like, if you really want to do him like that, you just call the police. You don't run after him and say, right, I'm 100% calling the police. By the way, let me also explain why this is a fucking unbelievably stupid thing to do. Let's say this guy is in the criminal element, right? Let's assume that, right? So he's in the criminal element. He's kicked you down some stairs. He just thinks you're a prick and he's not seeing you again. Then you're alone in a foreign country and you run after this guy and you say, I'm going to call the police on you. Bud, this is how people die, like, for fucking real, like that, in a flash. You do not understand, like, put it this way, I lived in Atlanta, right? You get murked. You get murked. Gun, bang, you're down. I don't know what gun laws are like in fucking Malta, but you can get shanked. He could just get on the phone, call his boys, you get run down. You think you're safe, you get run down with a car, like, down the street fucking 10 minutes later. What are you fucking doing? Like, if you think this guy is dangerous and he sounds like he was dangerous enough to dust you up, why are you going to tell him I'm calling the police? So, nah, I don't believe anyone's that stupid, but if you were that stupid, you're taking your life in your hands doing shit like that. That's just fucking life advice 101. He then says he spat at me again and cursed at me, which infuriated me. We got into a fight. So this guy spat at him, cursed him, and now they're fighting. I wonder who started it with that wording. 100% config, right? So now you've refused to leave a club, been kicked out, waited outside, starting another fight. How is this not this guy's fault? Like, am I mentally ill? Like, this is all him so far. And I've seen the comments as well. Like, we'll take a look at some of them in a bit. What would you do if someone spat on you? Are you not a real man? Well, I had to take somebody attempted to headbutt me, apparently, so I guess I'll just take the fucking grem in the face. We got into a fight, and he broke my leg, and I fell to the ground. He was kicking me multiple times in my head while I was laying down. I tried getting away from the situation, but I couldn't because of the broken leg. I tried to run away, but I couldn't put my weight on my right leg. It just snapped and broke completely, dislocating my foot as well. He stopped kicking me because I dragged him down, and I had to do self-defense to make him stop kicking me. Right, again, maybe you're not a fighter, bro. Just a little bit of a word of advice. Hang up the gloves, yeah? And also, as well, like, this is another reason you never go back. He said his ankle was sprained. He probably pumped full of booze and adrenaline. Probably already had the broken ankle, right? And he's gone over and then tried to run on it, put his weight on it, tried to twist somebody with a judo throw, snapped his leg in fucking 3 places or something stupid. And then he's, like, on the floor getting stampsies. And by the way, again, when you're in a fight, alone, on a street, in a foreign country, no one around, mate, the rules, there are no rules. Like, this ain't like the schoolyard where people go, oh no, get off him, Darren, no. Like, there's none of that. He's just going to stomp on you till you're fucking dead if he wants. Like, once you're down and fucked like that, and you can't even get up, you're in his world. Like, he chooses. Like, so stupid to even do this to yourself. And, like, listen, I'm going to roast fucking K0nfig for the rest of the stream, but I am actually glad he's all right, because this could have gone, like, 100, like I say, I know situations like this. This is like a familiar fucking story, and they don't have happy endings where you just get to, like, have your leg in a cast and then get back to being a millionaire. They don't have happy endings at all. He sat there writing up this Twitlonger, and I don't think the penny's dropped. I hope it has, because if it has, he'll quit drinking because he can't control himself, and he'll fucking quit fighting because he can't do it. Just stick to your gains in the gym. It's a different world out there. Anyway, I was so scared that I was about to die. Like, I was watching my own body from above laying there. Concussion, maybe. The promoter then stole my phone, but luckily someone called an ambulance and I got transported to a Maltese hospital. Ever since the episode, I've been in a really deep, dark place, which I didn't think I could be in. I feel sad, angry, disappointed, scared, and worried all at the same time. The entire time I was hospitalised, I cried. I cried every day, multiple times. I felt like I was alone in the world. Nothing could make me smile, nothing. I just felt like my emotions had died. The doctors tried to put my foot back into place, but they couldn't, so surgery was needed. But I didn't feel safe, and I wanted to get the surgery back home in Denmark. I tried so hard and got so far to go back home, so I would feel safe and get the surgery in Denmark, but they noticed a fracture in my orbital wall. They said I wouldn't be able to go home for 4 weeks, and it broke my heart. I was so scared, I started sweating and crying. Everything I wanted in the whole world was just to go home and get surgery. I knew if I could get home, my mood would be so much better, and I would feel safe and have people that loved me close. After communication with Danish doctors through emails, they allowed me to travel because there wasn't air captured under my eye. If there was air under my eye, there would be a chance of me going blind in my right eye if I went on a plane because of air pressure. Thursday, I came home to Denmark. I went to the hospital, and when I landed, I came in. They tried to put my foot in place. I've never experienced so much pain. I can't explain how bad these days have been. Sleep was non-existent. I was sleeping around 1 to 2 hours at night and was constantly scared. Whenever I would hit deep sleep, I would wake up feeling like someone was trying to drag my legs and pull me out of the bed. I had night terrors, waking up drenched in sweat, and still have almost every single night. Friday, I got my first surgery, needed to fixate my foot, which is basically they drill small holes into my shin and foot and put titanium rods in so you can't move it, like they did with his wrist. Everything went smooth, but the pain was unbearable, both mentally and physically. On Wednesday, I got my final surgery. A metal piece had been put into my shin with screws and pulled a muscle back into my foot that I had torn in the fight. Then late Friday, they allowed me to go back home. When I came home, I broke down crying. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It felt so bad that I just wanted to delete everything and just give up. I couldn't stop crying. I was in my own bed feeling empty. The entire time I was hospitalised, thoughts have been in my mind. Is it time to end my career? Is this it for me? But this is nowhere near the end for me. I'm going to war against myself now. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to a psychologist. My mindset is moving forward, but seeing the demon in its eyes. He means staring at the demon in its eyes. I'm not going anywhere. I will turn this into something positive. Then he thanks a bunch of people, and he's out. Now, it all sounds good, right? It all sounds like he's really learned something from it. And I think he has. But that doesn't exclude a number of factors, right? And factors we need to talk about. The key part is all of that, no matter how much Reddit want, right? Because he's shown vulnerability, you know, oh, I was like scared for my life and I'll never do it again. And oh God, I was so weak and I cried and I cried and I cried. And everyone goes, wow, like there's a, you know, masculine looking guy crying. I immediately feel sorry for him. Something about that candor elicits sympathy, right? That's a normal empathetic response, but it is a manipulative one. It is trickery. This has all been deliberately coded to make you think. It's been front loaded with contrition, back loaded with, by the way, here's why I'm the real victim. You'll notice at no point in this statement does he talk about the Astralis players and where they were and, you know, why they weren't with him and how this fucks them over. And actually, you know, the greater pain is that I've let down 4 really good friends. None of that, right? Just him. So here's the reality about K0nfig that you all need to know. I'm pretty sure when you put out a Twitlonger like this and you get a lot of public sympathy, there are a lot of people that you fuck over in the past that are going to see that and they're going to be pissed off. And if I was a betting man, I would say the wheels of media are turning right now. Because, as Thorin said, and as I'm about to tell you, K0nfig's been doing shit like this at events for a long time. And in my opinion, he's a fucking bully. So I'm just going to say this. At this event, he got into a fight, and it was with someone outside of esports, and it was with someone that might be a piece of shit and might have had it coming, but it was totally avoidable. It was totally avoidable, and it was totally avoidable, and it should have been avoided because he had to think about something other than himself. He had to think about his teammates. He had to think about Astralis. He had to think about every Astralis fan that needs the org to bounce back, needs to get to that major. The only thing he should have been thinking about was the RMR. Not drowning his motherfucking sorrows, 10 hours before he has to catch a plane because we washed to Warwick again. You got to get back in the fucking saddle. And also, if this story was a mainstream sports star playing, shit, I know the NFL is fucking wild with some of the stuff you can get away with, right? But, this, you're suspended, you're fired, you're dropped, you're fined. It's all of those things. Same in soccer, same in football, right? You're done, But here's the part that's going, it has to come out. It can't be allowed to stand. He was told at another event this year to sort it out, sort his behaviour out. And he was told by the people that were running the event and Astralis, his management, because once again he'd got drunk. And you know what he was doing? He was trying to fucking mad dog hotel workers and mad dog other people in the CS scene. And people talk about this. He's done it at events I've been at. He just cannot hold his drink. He's just not a nice dude when he's had a drink. That's the reality of it. He got warned earlier this year, you gotta chill the fuck out. You cannot behave like this. And so all these people that are out there, saying, support him. He's been warned about this. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing this guy being lauded like he's a victim of crime when this cunt tried to cause crime. By the way, in his ideal scenario, he does to that guy what happened to him. How's that any better? Do you want your CSGO players getting paid to travel the world, millions in the bank, 40 grand a month, getting into fights with local people when they're out there at the countries? And I'll tell you this, woe betide. Anybody tries this in fucking Rio, homies, I'll tell you now, don't even think about it. If you even feel anything rising, go to bed. Do not fuck around. Different fucking world out there. You think Malta's bad and you're talking about how bad Paceville is. And if you flag down a policeman in fucking Rio as well, go look at some of these headlines, guys. Yeah, behave. So this is the bigger issue to me. This guy is being lauded, he's a victim in all of this, that he's had something bad happen to him. And don't get me wrong, yes, he has been beaten up, but he ran after somebody and essentially said, beat me up, please. He did the Warwick Davis, beat me up, please. And I can't sympathise with that. Because, like I say, when you put yourself in a position for violence, you're essentially saying, right, oh, well, listen, the outcome is either I win or I lose. And when somebody loses, somebody is hurt, somebody is fucked up. So you're willing to do that to another human being over your fucking pride, over your ego, over someone saying your tattoos and shit? Fuck me, man. That ain't a good look. You people like that are bad. They're bad news. I'm hoping that all comes out, man, because this guy's been doing it for years. Now, to end on a positive note, if he's really learnt his lesson and he's really going to simmer the fuck down and he's really going to lay off the sauce and he's willing to, work hard and come back and be an asset to a team, yeah, I'm about that. Right, fair enough. Everyone's got to have chances, and it's not one chance or two chances or three chances. Let's give people enough chances and enough help and enough support to be the best versions of themselves that they can be before they shuffle off. But there's also got to be consequences for your actions. And a community supporting a guy that has put himself in a bad position. Like I said, the people I feel sorry for are the other 4 Astralis players. They have just been robbed of a chance to compete. It could be their last major. It could have been their last major. And by the way, there's no doubt in my mind that they would have squeaked through if K0nfig had been there instead of Mr. And so, how many more majors is Glaive going to get to play out? How many more majors is Zipnik's going to get to play at, right? How many majors will Farlig ever play at? All the pressure that's on Blame F for being Bait F. All the pressure that's on Zipnik's for being washed. All the pressure that's on Glaive, right? But if you'd qualified and if you got to the major, maybe done well there, it's all lifted. And instead, you took away Zipnik's streak, you took away Glaive's ability to further cement his legacy, you took away what might be Farlig's only opportunity to go deep in a major. You chose that in a moment of madness, where your fucking pride and somebody was more important to you than 4 other people. And blood, I tell you, that's not a good teammate. That is not a fully developed adult. When you're in a team, you live for the team. You die for the team. You put the team first. Could have been all 5 of your boys could have fucking, you could have called them up and been like, yo, fucking, I'm waiting outside to roll some dickhead who just kicked me down the stairs. You know, fuck it, win together, lose together, right? What you did is put yourself in a dangerous position, the repercussions of which, it's not just you laid up in a hospital bed, it's 4 people sat at home for the rest of the year, wondering what could have been. So, nah, sorry, no sympathy for the devil. Your leg will get better. Those moments in history are never coming back. They're gone. Those opportunities for those players are gone because of your selfishness. So, nah, unfortunately, Uncle Richie says, you need to be in a dark place for a few more months and have a fucking think. Maybe in 2023 you can be an adult. But yeah, I don't even want to read them. But if you just go to the thread, it's actually insane. The overwhelming amount of like support from just clowns, like actual clowns, children who think this is somehow all reasonable. And basically you've got 2 kind of kid in this thread. There's the version who says, well, of course you beat somebody up who, what, said your tattoos are bad? Are you a man? You got that version. And then, which, by the way, nowhere to be seen when someone's trying to beat me up, I noticed. And then you've got the other version. Well, but he had no choice. He's the victim. He was assaulted. Yep. See it. All the people at the top pretty much saying what I'm saying, except they're Redditors and they've never even touched grass, let alone touched gloves. There you go. Promoters are assholes. Clearly, Config's in the right. Terrible situation for the guy. Terrifying thing to happen to anyone. I felt physical pain while I was reading this because you were manipulated. Config has had absolutely shit luck the past 2 years. There is no such thing as luck, by the way. Like, everybody, we all know that, right? Like, there is no such thing as luck, blood. It's not real, like. You know what I mean? Like, if you keep fucking breaking bones doing daft stuff, right? If you keep fucking getting into fights and losing opportunities, I don't know, again, maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's you. And also, yeah, shit luck. Mate, you just survived the hiding of your life in Malta and only had your phone took off you. Don't know, mate. Maybe you've actually got a guardian angel the way I fucking think about it. And you'll be back playing CS on a big salary in 2023. So I think you'll be alright, mate. Heartbreaking. This was a word that got used a lot. Heartbreaking. As I said, my heart breaks for his teammates. My heart breaks for Farlig. Farlig's getting cut. Farlig's getting cut for Device. Farlig's gone. Like, this was his chance. At least he would have gone to that major. You took that away from him. And the community's going to shit on him. Ain't there no love for Farlig? Ain't there no heartbreak for Farlig? I mean, it's crazy to me. It's not heartbreaking for the 25-year-old millionaire who had... Right, remember when I did the Horseman episode and I'm talking about the fuck-up merry-go-round? Right, well, someone said a bad thing. I could just ignore it. But now I have responded and I have gone too far. But if I just apologise now, I can get off it. But actually, I don't want to apologise because of my ego, so I'll say another bad thing. You can get off the merry-go-round. You can just get off. He also mentioned, by the way, in his Twitlonger, he went, yes, I reported it to the police the following day, and the police made it clear, I am indeed the victim. And, I'm paraphrasing, but then he also said, and they told me that they had drugs tested, the promoter, and he was definitely on drugs. I don't know, mate. I mean, listen, maybe it works different in Malta, but any police investigation I've been involved in, they're not calling you up to say, oh yeah, the guy, right, in the case that we are investigating, here is some medical information about the guy that you were involved in an altercation with. There's no way that's happening in a million years, like, there's no way. You can't even get cops on the phone to discuss your case half the time. And half the time he's being generous. So what, they called him up? Yeah, just an update. It's Config, yeah? The guy with the cool tattoos. Yeah, just an update. Yeah, we drugs tested the guy that you got in a fight with. What drugs testing would do in this situation, I don't know. Why anyone would be drugs tested? It's not a crime after the fact to have drugs in your system. And it's, what, a day or two later, so it wouldn't even be relevant to the night of the crime, whatever. Anyway, he was high as a kite, so you're definitely the good guy. And everyone uncritically repeating this. Remember, Config only chased him to say, I'm calling the police. Yeah? They all buy it. They all believe it. They're literally there. They're literally there saying, yeah, he got beat up by a junkie. The guy's a junkie now. It don't make sense. These things aren't real. Somebody said Config needs to be careful in case he gets a car bomb. That was specifically related to the Panama Papers and a journalist. I don't think Config needs to worry about that. This was a great comment. I love this one. Malta is wild, right? And you go, yeah, but it is. Right, and he goes, first, the hotel argued with Simple about mold in an ant-infested room. And now a bouncer kicked Config's ass. Like, yeah, one of these things is not like the other. I don't think Moldgate and fucking FOOTGATE are even fucking comparable. Like, it's not, Malta is to blame for the existence of spores and ants. This is good. I really wonder if that Maltese promoter will face jail time. Well, good luck with that one. Earlier in the evening, the assailant and aggressor was seen earlier being ejected from the premises after being drunk and belligerent. I'd stay out of the police case, actually. I don't think they're going to help you on this one, actually. I think they might stick with their boys. I'd just be like, yeah, you're all right, actually. Not coming back, see ya. Let's hope one of the esports journalists follows up on the story and the outcome. I'll get right on it. Drunk guy, starts fight, loses. Pimp in there with the pandering, of course. It takes an enormous amount of courage to come out like he is right now. It's a very well-written take, and the fact that he takes responsibility countless of times is admirable. He's literally lying in the statement. He's lied in that Twitlonger. He didn't chase him, right? He didn't chase him to tell him, I just want to let you know I'm calling the police on you, sir. He didn't do that. He's lying. Yeah, I went alone to have something to eat, and I think it was about 30 minutes. And then I tried to get in the nightclub, and they denied me entry because of my tattoos. This is a thing that definitely happens. Guess there was no one with tattoos in that whole building. And then I graciously said, no, this is rude, and you are a loser. Yeah, mate. If you want to take accountability, you just say, I was completely out of order. I got a problem with drinking. That's step one, by the way. If you can't control your temperament when you've had a shandy, you got to put the shandy down. That's life. It ain't for you. Not all drugs agree with everybody. You know what I mean? Some people freak out on acid, can't do it. Some people get really demotivated on weed. Some people get worse things happen to them, can't do it. Some people just don't get to do certain types of drugs. Booze isn't your thing, bro. Lay off it. Poor kid. Everybody makes mistakes, but this other guy was clearly insane or on crack or something. 212 net votes. To hold himself accountable in such an awful situation, provoked by such an asshole, you see the about face. You see how they are bamboozled with it's there in front of you. You just have to read the Twitlonger. But by the way, spoiler, anyone who said anything else, because there was another thread today, immediately downvoted. Why is everyone supporting K0nfig for being an asshole? Have you read the Twitlonger? I would wager all the people supporting him have read, skimmed a few words like scared, crying, injury, hurt, psychiatrist. You haven't actually tunneled in and looked at the fucking, bones of the statement, which is, I could have avoided this situation. It is all my own doing. I didn't sympathize with him before, but after reading this, I really feel for the guy. Said, no. A man susceptible to advertising, I would imagine. Daily reminder, nightclubs are owned and operated by scum. Someone even went here, he thanks Villads especially for staying with him. Meaning that no one else from the Astralis team stayed to help. That's pretty poor. Oh, I don't know. First of all, he said he lost his phone, so maybe they didn't know. So let's just cast aspersions on the other players. K0nfig fucked over. Love that. Great job there, guys. And then, I don't know, maybe they actually went to bed. Flight in the morning. Maybe they were professional. I don't know. His teammates are the real villains. As someone who was super against K0nfig in this story, his side really opened up my eyes. I'm glad he started with saying no matter how tragic or bad it went, he willingly escalated the situation. You can't really fault him, but he himself says that you should just lick your wounds and walk away. What was K0nfig to gain from winning a fight with this dude other than his own police report? Heal up, K0nfig. Hope they catch that loser in Malta and he finds out what pain truly is in prison. With all that being said, I do not in any way, shape or form think that K0nfig simply has to go to his friends. I fail to see what a promoter gains from kicking your ass for simply asking if you can enter. K0nfig probably is leaving some stuff out, which is upsetting. The genius of Pixel Mike, a man so fucking devoid of any actual grey matter in his skull that Pixel Mike even changes his opinion in his own posts. He just goes along not knowing where the story ends. Like an exquisite corpse of nonsense. Mental. I hope that bouncer gets crushed between a port and a ship. Admitting he got manhandled takes huge balls. This is from CS Taco or Taco. This is a guy, by the way, who uploads his own videos. And it's an Andrew Tate soundboard. And it's him, griefing in CS games. Fantastic. Takes a lot to admit you're not alpha. I bet Andrew Tate wouldn't think that, mate. Psychopath bouncer needs to go to jail for attempted murder. Astralis fired him. What the fuck? Did just cost them millions. This guy's seen Roadhouse. The most badass person I've ever met was a decorated martial artist with multiple black belts. His only advice to win a fight is to walk away. No one ever won a fight. You should tell other players to avoid this club in Malta. If K0nfig having tattoo sets someone off, they dislike Simple Twist and most of the thing. Yeah, it's almost as if it's not about the tattoos, man. Sounds like a nightmare. Feel so bad for the guy. Traumatic as fuck. This one's a great comment. Why is he saying sorry for getting beat like old dog? Got him. Keep fighting, king. Poor choice of words. Haha, yeah, I meant it in supportive and honourable way. Yeah, and someone makes a good point down here because we're getting to the downvote land. Where's the apology about lying about the Jackson story? To which someone replies, I was brutally beaten and my career possibly destroyed and I need therapy to deal with the traumatic events. Okay, so apologise to Jackson. Fuck off. Literally impugned a journalist's reputation, by the way, and happily did it so we could, like, cling on for a few more fucking weeks. See what I mean? Guys, like, get better heroes. For real. That's the end of FOOTGATE. Now, just to put a little positive bit on it at the end, because I did say I was going to do that, and then we delved into Reddit, and that's always a bad idea. But now we're back here. We're out of Reddit. We're on Big Head. My head is shiny. I've had it shaved. So, listen, I think K0nfig is a talented player still. Hopefully, he does go away and work on his temperament issues. But he needs to go back to the Bush Leagues. Like, that has to be the final consequence and story of this. It's Bush Leagues. You can't walk into a Tier 1 org. You are a massive liability. You've proven yourself to be a fucking liability. You can't just walk back into a top team. Nah. Don't work like that. You're going to have to go and play, like, I don't know where your penance is, but you need to be in the fucking Bane pit for about, like, 6 months, you know, and actually put up some big numbers. So, where he ends up, don't really know, but listen, I wouldn't hate him going to Sprout, I just don't think they can afford him. EG is not even a terrible shout, but remember, they turned down picking up a European player because they didn't want to go European-based. So, I don't know, is what it is, really. He's just got to go somewhere that's, like, Tier 2, low end of Tier 1, build his rep up, show he can go to an event and not be a cunt. That'll be a start, yeah? I'm not a malicious man, but you've been naughty in that Twitlonger, and he knows it. Told a few little fibbies there to try and handle his PR image. You've been at this for a while. I'm amazed it took this long for someone to pull your card. Right, because you're not the tough guy you fucking think you are, and you love fucking flex at an event, and you generally do it to people who are weaker than you, and now you just met someone bigger, which I guess is a good place to end this video on YouTube. Another key point about fighting, boys, it don't matter if you're the hardest cunt at your fucking barbecue, right? You're gonna, as Dana White said about Kimbo Slice, you're gonna fucking go out there into the real world, and there are some monsters out there. Monsters, not just big, strong, better, more adept. They got the empathetic human mechanism missing. And they will just hurt you, and they will relish in it. So, you know what I mean? If you want to be about that, be about that. But no half measures in that world. So,